language models are going to go just much, much further than people think. I would guess that with the quality of language models we'll see in the coming years, there will be like a serious challenge to Google for the first time. I think that like a human level chat bot interface that actually works this time around, this is going to be a massive trend, and very large businesses will get built with this as the interface. And if you just think about like what that alone is going to unlock and the sort of applications people will be able to build with that, that would be like a huge victory for all of us, and just like a massive step forward and a genuine technological revolution if that were all that happened. AGI is basically the equivalent of a median human that you could hire as a coworker, and then they could say do anything that you'd be happy with a remote coworker doing, like just behind a computer. And then super intelligence is when it's like smarter than all of humanity put together. And I think it's just, like if it is as divergent as I think it could be, for like some people doing incredibly well and others not, I think society just won't tolerate it this time. But I do think like the concept of wealth and access and governance, those are all going to change, and how we address those will be huge. Tools for creatives, that is going to be like the great application of AI in the short term. People love it, it's really helpful, and I think it is, at least in what we're seeing so far, not replacing. For the majority of like the kind of work that people in these fields want to be doing, it's enhancing. Eventually, yeah, it probably is just like, we look at 100 years, okay, it can do the whole creative job. I think it's interesting that if you asked people 10 years ago about how AI was going to have an impact, with a lot of confidence from almost most people, you would have heard, first it's going to come for the blue-collar jobs, working in the factories, truck drivers, whatever. Then it will come for the kind of like the low-skill white-collar jobs, then the very high-skill, like really high IQ white-collar jobs, like a programmer or whatever, and then very last of all, and maybe never, it's going to take the creative jobs. And it's really gone and is going exactly the other direction. And I think this, there's an interesting reminder in here, generally about how hard predictions are, but more specifically about, we're not always very aware, maybe even in ourselves, of like what skills are hard and easy, like what uses most of our brain and what doesn't, or how like difficult bodies are to control or make or whatever.